Can you guys hear me? Yes, yes. Okay, good. All right. So, how's everyone's day going today? While we wait for more people to show up. Did you guys watch E3? I didn't get a chance to watch more too much of it, but I saw some of the games that came out or were announced. So, not bad. That's good. You forgot it was happening? Well, good thing that you remembered. Yeah. Battlefield 2042 looks nice. Yeah, so I saw the trailer, the little teaser where the guy jumps out of the jet and then like rockets the other jet. I thought that was cool, but too unrealistic. Wonder if GTA 6 will ever get revealed. Probably not. It was announced though, right? So that's good. Probably like another 4 or 5 years. No Smash Bros. DLC from what I can tell, so that what's even the point? Yeah, but isn't the Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, right? That's the last day. Um, I doubt anything will get announced though. I mean, they have two characters left in the Fighter Pass, so maybe one of them. Um, but they announced like one Nintendo game today, so maybe they're saving the big ones for Tuesday. Better be Crash. Yeah, I want Crash, Rayman, Ukulele, all those good characters. I wish they made a Fantastic Four game, Marvel answer to Gotham Knights. Yeah, that'd be good. Because I heard some, wasn't there like some drama with Gotham Knights because of either microtransactions or something? As long as it's not a sword character, yeah, yeah, please no more. They made an Avatar game instead of a second film. Yeah, that's funny. But that's the first Avatar game, right? As far as I'm aware. And the movie's isn't the movie coming out next year? So it's not too far away. Yeah, so I saw that they announced Elden Ring, so finally we know that it's actually a thing and it's coming January 2022, I think. So that's cool. Other than that, there wasn't really anything that I was too interested in. Like the game that I'm super excited for right now is Ratchet and Clank, but I don't have a PS5, so I can't play it. I need the Fantastic Four movie or some news on it. 2023. We're probably gonna get through all the Disney Plus shows. Like right now, we're starting to get more news on She-Hulk, which is good. So I'm gonna talk about that later. But we're probably gonna have to go through She-Hulk, Moon Knight, all of the Disney Plus shows that are coming. Some of the movies coming in 2022, and then we'll start getting some more news on the Fantastic Four. Because we just now also started getting the news for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and for the Marvels. So we're probably gonna have to wait. What's your opinion on the Ratchet and Clank moving the movie in 2016? I thought it was good. I liked the movie. I didn't like how they tried to connect it to the game afterwards. Because it felt like the story wasn't as strong since they were just like including like random scenes and stuff from the movie. But other than that, it was a good game. And I really want to play the new one. Can you guys hear the music in the background? Um, Honestly, after all the Marvel shows so far, the only single character show I'm really excited for is Moon Knight. Well, She-Hulk is starting to look really, really good. But yeah, I think Moon Knight's gonna be the best one. True, but I hope there's some news on the Fantastic Four this year since it was the 60th year anniversary this year. Yeah, that would have been a good a good connection to make, but I don't think there's music. Okay, so you guys can't hear it. Let me see if I can fix it. Um, I was hoping Moon Knight was gonna be a Netflix show since it's dark and gritty, but I'll take a Disney Plus show. Yeah, I don't think Marvel's gonna make any more Netflix shows. Um, which sucks because Daredevil and the rest of them were really good. But I'm glad that they're all now on like under the Disney banner and can connect and stuff. Do you know how DC made a new Batman and Superman animated series? Do you think Marvel are gonna do the same? Yeah, so I think that Marvel is gonna start doing more animated stuff after What If, because I think What If is gonna be really good. Um, but I don't think they're gonna get to DC's level anytime soon because they're pumping out so many movies and shows. If She-Hulk has some Daredevil, then I'll be excited. Okay, so you guys want to start talking about the She-Hulk stuff? Is there some interesting stuff for She-Hulk that just got announced? Let's do it. Do you think She-Hulk is gonna be a fourth wall character like how she is in the comics? Um, I can definitely see that happening, but I'm not sure. I think they might start with Deadpool. Maybe if they connect later on, I think that would be a good one. Okay, hold on. All right, so in this article, I'm gonna be covering it tomorrow, but I'll just cover it here too. The direct says that according to their sources, Scar will appear in Marvel Studios She-Hulk. Um, However, the role is unconfirmed. And from the comics, Scar is the son of Bruce Banner, obviously, but he was conceived during the Hulk's tenure on Sakaar during the Planet Hulk storyline, right? And so Hulk obviously went to Sakaar, and some people did the math, and apparently he was on Sakaar for like 2.5 years. And so I that's clearly more than enough time to become the champion and also have have a son. I just It's gonna be cool to see how they introduce him because obviously he didn't come back to Earth with Hulk. So um I think they'd probably save that stuff just for Deadpool. Yeah, I think the fourth wall breaking would be mainly for him. Although they could definitely like have them interact together and have some fourth wall breaking together between them. I wonder if A-Bomb would ever appear in the MCU. Well, wasn't he in the Hulk movie, right? In the original one, and then he got like retconned because it was a white guy instead of like an Asian. And also the same actor that played him also played one of the teachers in Spider-Man movies. So they kind of like already introduced him. They just have to like recast, I guess, and then like just make him a more prominent role. That would be interesting. More Sakaar would be fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited. The episode of What If that I'm most excited for is obviously the Iron Man one, but he's also on Sakaar, and so seeing more of Sakaar and the Grandmaster and all that stuff, and then Scar on top of that, She-Hulk is already going to be. It seems like it's going to be a pretty good show, right? Because we got She-Hulk, we're getting more Abomination. We're probably going to get the Leader. We're getting Hulk back, and then now Scar. Leader's an interesting character, but I don't think he'll ever return to the MCU. Um, I'm not 100% sure if he was confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to appear in She-Hulk. Or it's at least been rumored, so. Yeah, I can look it up. Uh, A-Bomb is Rick Jones. I think the character we were talking about that went on to play the teacher was Amadeus Cho. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. It was Amadeus Cho. Yeah. What episode of What If do you want to see? Well, I want to see them all, but I think the Iron Man one is the one that I'm most excited for. Um, yeah. There's no way they don't include him, the leader. Yeah, hopefully they do. Because they set him up in the Hulk and then they just never did anything with him. I hope they have the same actor. Yeah. I don't really remember who played him, but I think it's better than recasting. Although, if they find like a better actor, then whatever. I don't think anyone will really care from the Hulk. Um, what's up, Felipe? So yeah, this article that I found is from We Got This Covered. They're not a reliable source, but it says that he's expected to return. So I don't see why they wouldn't make him return, at least like in a small role, because they did set him up in the Hulk. So I feel like Drax needs a solo Disney Plus show. Yeah. So um, Dave Bautista and was talking about that recently about how like Marvel kind of dropped the ball with Drax, not making him exactly like a destroyer like he is in the comics. And he said that when he retires in a few years or after Guardians 3 that he wants them to recast and sort of reboot the character and make him into the character that he's supposed to be in the comics. The guy who was also in the Fantastic Four, the dude that kind of weird looking face. Yeah. Hi, Mr. Jazzgenics. Um, yeah, I vaguely remember him, but I don't know. Yeah. If he returns, it'd be cool. If they get someone else, not that big of a deal, at least in my opinion. I didn't even notice that it was the 2015 Fantastic Four. Yeah, that movie was not great. Um, do you think Namor will be Hispanic to be more diverse? Yeah, so I covered it a couple days ago. Namor's supposedly been cast, and the Tenoch Huerta is playing him, so he's Mexican. Um, if I remember correctly in the comics, Namor is Asian because like the depth that he lives at, he's like whiter. But making him Hispanic, it doesn't really matter to me, right? As long as he plays the character good, then I'm fine. Um, I need to see the Crimson Dynamo in the MCU. Yeah, so hopefully the Crimson Dynamo will be one of the villains in Armor Wars. At least that's what's rumored. It's him and Justin Hammer. All right, so I don't know how many of you guys still play Marvel's Avengers or if any of you are excited for the DLC, but I was watching a YouTube video yesterday and they were talking about this guy. His name is Practical Brush 12 and apparently he's gotten a lot of video game leaks, right, in the past year. And apparently he was the first person to leak that Steve from Minecraft was gonna appear in Smash Bros. Right? So now he made this list of like 58 games that are supposed to be announced at E3, and one of them is, if I can find it, Marvel's Avengers. So obviously this isn't Marvel's Avengers 2 or anything. It's most likely going to be a DLC. And I think that if they're going to announce a DLC at E3, it could possibly be the Spider-Man one. So I know that a lot of you guys are excited for the Spider-Man DLC. So that could be cool. Yeah, I don't really think of Namor as a certain race, just a fish guy. Yeah. I'm not too familiar with Namor either. He's just cool underwater guy. Justin Hammer, we need him even more than leader, lol. Yeah. I know you like Justin Hammer a lot. It's a shame that Armor Wars is so far away, because that's the show that I'm the most excited for. I wonder how they're going to set up Namor and Black Panther, like, is Atlantis under Wakanda? Yeah, so I think it was in Endgame, right? There was, like, earthquakes off the coast of Wakanda, and Okoye, or, I think it was Black Widow, was like, someone asked about the earthquakes, and I think Okoye was like, yeah, just leave them alone. And so that kind of, like, set up, like, Atlantis being there. And so now, depending on what they do with Black Panther 2, right, whether they, kill off T'Challa, or he goes missing and Shuri becomes Black Panther, or Killmonger or someone, then that might be like the reason why they attack now, is because they're without their leadership, right? So I think that, at least in my opinion, that's like the best way that I can think of that it could happen. The underwater earthquakes, yeah. Black Widow asked, yeah. And Okoye was like, yeah, just leave them alone, like that's what we always do. So like, I assume what they were trying to like hint at was that Wakanda knows about Atlantis. They just like, leave them alone. They're just separate. Trailer of Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah, I don't think it's coming out anytime soon. I need the trailer. Me too. Like, Sony's been teasing us with the trailer since like December of last year, right? They released the video saying like that we were gonna see all three Spider-Man, and then they kept like saying that we were gonna get the trailer at this event, and then we never got it. And then they're like, no, we're gonna get it at this event. And their Twitter keeps like teasing it. It was supposed to come out last week, but it hasn't come out. So I wonder if he's gonna fly like he does in the comics. Well, I mean, didn't the title for Aquaman 2 just get announced? So maybe if they want to one-up Aquaman, make him fly and be able to swim underwater. I hope Namor gets his ankle wings. Yeah, so, alright, hold on. I don't know if you guys can see it in here. Yeah, hold on. I forgot that I just put them away, but I have this Namor pop, and he has the little wings on his ankles. So hopefully they do that too, because that'd be cool. Although it's not super important if they don't have it, right? But yeah, so he has like the little angel wings on his ankles. So right here. I feel like Loki is gonna set up the multiverse because it's no way Spider-Man No Way Home is gonna have the multiverse randomly. Okay, so the thing with Spider-Man No Way Home, at least from, if you guys watched the video from yesterday or the day before, the 10-minute one where I covered the leak talking about the first two acts, what I'm getting from that is that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home will take place at roughly the same time, right? So what I think is going to happen is that the villains come over to our Earth. Doctor Strange wraps them, like, captures all of them and puts them in the multiverse, like in the multiversal holding cell that he has. Then, because of Spider-Man's identity being revealed, and him going through all that stuff with Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock trying to like be proven innocent, Doctor Strange brings him to the Sanctum Sanctorum. But then Spider-Man being, the person that he is, lets the villains go. And because Doctor Strange is already dealing with all the multiversal stuff because of Wanda trying to find her kids, whatever, with Shuma Gorath and America Chavez, he tells Spider-Man, I can't, fix this mess that you've made. You let all of the villains go. Now you have to be the one that recaptures them. And so that's why he brings Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in, and then eventually Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And so they have to capture all the villains while Doctor Strange is doing his own thing, like with the multiverse. So I think that's why the multiverse will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home. Namor's a mutant. His wings are his mutant ability. Okay, yeah. When will Spider-Man come out in Marvel's Avengers? Yeah, so like I said before, hold on, let me go back. Like I said before, this leaker, Practical Brush 12, has leaked a bunch of video game stuff, right, in the past year. And he said that there's going to be a Marvel's Avengers announcement at E3. So maybe Spider-Man DLC will be then. Yeah, in the comics I've read, they forgot about his wings half the time anyways. Yeah, so if they don't show him in the movie, that I don't think is that big of a deal. Sometime after Black Panther DLC, that's what the creators say. So is the Black Panther DLC coming before the Spider-Man one? So that means that the DLC they'll announce now at E3 would be the Black Panther one, right? I hope they're interconnected like that. Yeah, I think that'd be the smartest way to do it. Because it's Spider-Man No Way Home in December, and then Doctor Strange 2 comes out in like March of 2022. I think Tobey's Spider-Man is going to die because the character is old. Yeah, he is super old. He's like 45. I mean, it's not that old, right? Iron Man's like Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is like 50. But yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's been too long since the last Spider-Man movie for them to make like Spider-Man 4. But, it's rumored that he'll appear in Doctor Strange 2 as well, and then he'll go on to like have his own Spider-Man 4. And I covered it a couple days ago if you guys watched. They said that the plan was to like sprinkle the Venomverse villains into the previously established Spider-Man universes. So like Doc Ock and Norman Osborn would obviously be from the Raimiverse, but then like Electro and the Lizard, which are returning, would be from the Tasmverse, but then like Venom and Kraven, they would be sprinkled into those universes too, like kind of like reviving them, and then they would keep like making more Sony properties and movies and shows in those universes and connecting them to the MCU. It's good that Spider-Man 3 and TASM 2 are getting retcon if they do appear. Yeah, I heard that, but I haven't actually like read into what they were saying. Right, I heard today like a bunch of YouTubers making videos that Spider-Man 3 and TASM 2 were gonna get retcon. I assume what they mean is because of all the villain death, right? All the villains that died, because they're returning in Spider-Man No Way Home. And Doctor Strange, Miss America is gonna appear for a filtration. I don't know what you mean by that. I feel like Tobey is gonna be the mentor to the other Spider-Mans. Yeah, that's what it seemed like, at least in the plot leak that I covered the other day. He kind of like came in at the very end of the second act. And since he's older, he has a daughter and everything, so he's clearly been Spider-Man for a lot longer. I feel like Tobey's I already read that. I don't think Spider-Man 4 will happen. The Amazing Spider-Man 3 maybe. Yeah, it depends. It depends on what they do, right? Because if Tobey does appear in Spider-Man No Way Home and he doesn't die, and then he goes on to appear in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, there's obviously going to be like those old nostalgic fans that want more Spider-Man movies. And if Sony really is going to like revive those universes and like put Kraven and like all the new villains from their movies in those, then I guess it could make sense. TASM 2 retcon, heaven forbid. Yeah. Maybe we'll get a good Green Goblin now. Do you think No Way Home would be similar to Into the Spider-Verse? So I think that No Way Home will actually travel through the multiverse a little bit, right? Whereas Into the Spider-Verse didn't really do that. They just brought the characters over and then in the end sent them back. I think it's going to be more similar to Into the Spider-Verse 2 because they're actually going to be traveling like through the multiverse in that one. It would be cool if Bruce Campbell would play Mysterio in the multiverse since he would have in Spider-Man 4. Yeah. But at least from the leak that I covered the other day, it said that they did get Jake Gyllenhaal to return for some new scenes. So maybe we'll see both of them. Who knows? So I'll see if I can find it real quick. But what do you guys think of Sony like reviving their old universes and like putting Venom and Kraven and all those characters uh in the Raimi verse and the TASM verse? Uh I thought the Chameleon was supposed to be in Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, so the Chameleons like appeared at least in yeah, in Far From Home. He was in Far From Home. Here, let me see if I can look it up. I got so much stuff here. Uh in Far From Home. So, in Spider-Man Far From Home, this guy was like the bus driver, right? And apparently he is the Chameleon. So maybe he'll appear in No Way Home or somewhere down the line. I think Sony should do that. It would be dope. If he was, then what a complete waste. Yeah, so I just think they haven't like explored his character more. Maybe like in Spider-Man 4, or maybe he'll even appear in No Way Home. What I hope is we get Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin killing Ugly TASM 2, like Deadpool killing Origins Deadpool. Yeah, I don't think they'll go that far, but that would be funny. I don't like how they're retconning Spider-Man 3. It's not perfect, but I do like Topher Grace as Venom. Probably in the minority on that one. Yeah, so I actually really liked Spider-Man 3 as well. Like having Venom and Sandman and the Green Goblin all together, I thought that was really cool. There were obviously some, not so great parts, but you heard about that somewhere? Yeah. So I'm gonna try to find that Sony leak real quick. You didn't like how the Rhino was in TASM 2? Yeah. So, all right, here I gotta show you guys another one. Yeah. So I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Right? I don't like when studios take the easy route. Like if you're gonna give me a character, don't go like the easy way, right? Give me the character the way that it's meant to be, the way that we see it in the comics, right? We got like for Dormammu, we got this giant purple blob that didn't really look like the comics, and then for Rhino and TASM 2, we got like a mechanical Rhino. But why don't you just give me like some big actor and hold on, give me a big actor and a skin tight Rhino suit? Like why can't we just get this in the MCU? Give me a CGI Rhino. That's all I want. But it's rumored, or not rumored, because at this point it's like kind of confirmed. But Paul Giamatti, I think was his name, the one that played the Rhino in TASM 2. It said that he will return in Spider-Man No Way Home. I assume that they won't give him such a drastic change as like making him comic accurate Rhino suit, but maybe it'll be a better version of the robot. So we needed more J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get two versions in No Way Home. I think that'd be cool. Like the Raimiverse version and the MCU version. He's such a big character, yet he was barely in the film. Yeah, he was just like in the final battle, right? And I think one way that they could start No Way Home is like having, or at least introducing Andrew Garfield, is like having that final battle like play out. The more comic accurate, the better. Yeah. And thankfully, like we're getting it with the Eternals, right? From what we've seen of the Eternals already. Not the Eternals, but the Celestials in the Eternals. Right, like we're getting these actual giant beings, like how they're supposed to be. Green Goblin storyline was also a waste in TASM 2. Yeah, I think TASM 2 is probably the weakest Spider-Man movie by far. In my opinion, the TASM verse is just the weakest, but I know that a lot of people really like those movies and Andrew Garfield. two JJJs playing off each other would be fantastic. Best MCU scene still to come. Yeah, I think J.K. Simmons is like the perfect J. Jonah Jameson. He's just like Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. And I also believe that TASM 3 was supposed to be Andrew Garfield going against the Sinister Six. Yeah, so I remember that Sony was originally planning to make like a Sinister Six movie in the TASM verse and then have Andrew Garfield fight them, but that never happened. I would like to see Willem Dafoe's original card mask in No Way Home. It was originally a lot more accurate and done with. Yeah, I think we need like an actual like goblin face mask for the Green Goblin. With animatronics. Yeah. And they better give us not a big Cloud Galactus. Yeah, please, no. Like, Dormammu was like... I was disappointed by Dormammu, right? He was fine. If you compare him to, like, Parallax or, like, Galactus. But still, like, this giant purple undulating blob is not, right? Like this. Something like this. We should have gotten something like this. And there's like a better image from like one of the mobile games that I really like. And you know, they didn't kill Dormammu, so we could see him maybe like better in the MCU later down the line. But yeah, I think like at least Marvel Studios, now that they're so big, now that they have so much money, they have so many people working on their movies, right? There shouldn't be any reason for them to be cutting corners with these big characters. I feel like the only villain done justice in TASM 2 is the Lizard, maybe Electro. I mean, if you remove the fact that Electro was blue, then yeah, maybe. They tried to push the Sinister Six way too fast. Yeah, and I think they're doing a much better job now. Dormammu was a complete waste. I laughed in theaters. Yeah, yeah. It's really disappointing because he could have been such a good character. He could have been such a much better character, right? Like, yeah, the Dormammu I've come to bargain scene was like one of the best in Doctor Strange, right? It was probably the best part of Doctor Strange. But the fact that he was this just like knocked it down a line. What's up, Daniel? Did you see Loki? Yeah, I did. I did. The first episode was good. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like was obviously how they had the cart with Infinity Stones, but you know, I kind of understand the TVA is in their own section of, you know, like the multiverse, whatever. They don't have to follow the same rules, which is why they can use the Infinity Stones as paperweights. So I totally understand that, but I just feel like they've set up the Infinity Stones being these all powerful things in the MCU, all these sacrifices that we've made to get to this point. And then like now they're introducing the Eternals. We're like where were you guys when Thanos came? And now the TVA, who just used them as paperweights. It's kind of, I don't know, it just makes me angry as a fan, you know, because we could still have Iron Man. But Dormammu I've come to bargain was legendary. Yeah, it was probably the best scene, the best part of the movie. So the TVA seem to be the real villains in the show. They're preventing the multiverse from existing. Yeah, I feel like I don't know what they're up to yet, but I feel like yes, they are gonna at least play a bigger role in being the villains. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not directly the villains, you know, but yeah, I feel like they will play a role. There's something going on, you know, in the background. I knew he was Dormammu in the film, but I was expecting the full look like how Surtur was in Ragnarok. Yeah, and if you take like Doctor Strange did come out a few years before, but like if you take Surtur and Ragnarok, he was done really, really well. And then you take like you compare him to Dormammu, and it's just like, you know, why didn't they do the same thing for Surtur? Logically, I understand that, but I don't like them pooping on the Infinity Stones like that. Yeah, yeah. That's what I said too. Like I haven't replied to your guys' comments yet, but on the post today I said like it felt like everything we had built up to was a waste. And like I understand, right? Some people responded to it, and I understand what they were saying. And that's not what I meant. It's just, you know, it's just weird looking at it, right? After all these years following the MCU and then seeing like, yeah, you know, they're paperweights. The multiversal war they mentioned in the show is probably Secret Wars. Yeah, so I think I don't know exactly what it is, but hopefully, right? The first war that they're talking about was like the 1984 war, and then maybe like we'll get like a prequel movie that will cover that war. But they did say that the timekeepers, ended the war and prevented it from happening again. But if the sacred timeline gets messed up, that another multiversal war could start. And I like the 2015 Secret Wars much better, so I hope that that's what they're leading into with God Emperor Doom and all that stuff. Um, yeah, Dormammu could have used like a body that yeah, it's just like a giant floating head. Yeah. All right, so I found the MCU and SPMC leak for you guys, and I'll read it. It says, I work for Sony. Silk and Venom will be from the TASM universe. Mayday, Parker, and Morbius will be from the Raimi universe. Michael Keaton appears as Raimiverse Vulture in the same way J. Jonah Jameson is played by J.K. Simmons in both universes. The plan for an eventual live-action adaptation of the plan is for an eventual live-action adaptation of the original Spider-Verse comic, with Tom Holland Spidey crossing over with Silk, Mayday, and Venom to fight the Inheritors, led by Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven rather than Moreland. And this is apparently the plan that Sony has to connect the SPMC to the MCU. So, honestly, when you're looking at it and you see what they're doing with the multiverse already, it kind of makes sense. But I never would have expected them to try and revive the the Raimiverse and the TASMverse, right? They're introducing all these characters, right? Silk, the Amazon Prime show that Sony's working on, is gonna be set in the TASMverse, and so is Venom. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Carnage. All those characters are gonna be part of the TASMverse. And then Mayday Parker, which I assume is gonna be Tobey Maguire's daughter, and then Morbius, the movie that's coming out in January, are gonna be set in the Raimiverse, which is why we saw the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with the words murderer on it. And then at the end of the trailer, we saw Michael Keaton's Morbius. Michael Keaton's Vulture. Because apparently he enters into the Raimiverse for some reason. And then, it'll be two different versions. Okay. It's funny how a stone that basically created the universe is used as paperweights. Also, there were multiple. Yeah, so that's kind of what I didn't like about it. It's the TVA is this powerful organization, but look at what Thanos did with the Infinity Stones, and technically that wasn't even their full power, right? And they had multiple, which they've obviously stolen, or not stolen, but taken from different time travel shenanigans that characters have done. Yeah, there's no universe where J.K. Simmons isn't J. Jonah Jameson. This is canon. Imagine we get a third one. He's just in the TASMverse. We see Andrew Garfield's version of J. Jonah Jameson. Just finished watching Loki episode 1, and I just noticed that the alternate 2012 reality that was created by Iron Man, Ant-Man, and Captain America and Loki was scrubbed when they captured Loki. Yeah, they put the reset charges, right? And so I heard some YouTubers saying that it deleted that timeline, and by them saying that, it makes me think that they're talking about, if you guys have watched Dragon Ball Super, and then Goku has the little button that he presses and calls Zeno. And when he was fighting Fuse Zamasu and Goku Black, and then he called Zeno and they destroyed the that timeline, basically. That's what it makes me think when they say that the charges deleted the timeline. But I think what the charges actually do is more of a Men in Black neuralizer thing, right? It just resets everything to before this happened. Because if they deleted the timeline, then technically the Avengers wouldn't have gone back in time, gotten what they needed, and then defeated Thanos. So I think it just resets it, and then, in that scenario, Loki wouldn't have escaped, and they just keep going like normal. I think the Eternals' memory was wiped by Sprite. That's why they didn't interfere during Infinity War. Yeah, so that would be like how it happens in the comics, right? Sprite erases their memories. And I talked about this last week, but I still haven't read into it. But I've seen a lot of videos where people are talking about how Captain America told the Eternals not to interfere. And I think that's that just doesn't make sense to me, why would Captain America tell the Eternals, these powerful beings, that are technically the same race as Thanos, not to interfere? So I don't really understand. So Cap must have gotten some help from the TVA to return the stones, right? I always wondered how he put the stones back in the Tesseract and the staff. Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. That's interesting. Like, because Cap went back to return everything, and so Thanos destroyed the Tesseract to get the stone. So how does he put it back in? Maybe he switched it out. Maybe he gave them the stone that they use as a paperweight now, and they gave him a brand new Tesseract. I think that's the case because why would an Eternal be a Bollywood star? Yeah, yeah. So they definitely are gonna get their memories wiped, and then I think, yeah, I don't know. If they get their memories wiped, it would make sense as to why Kingo is a Bollywood star, and like I think Cersei and Icarus are like teachers or whatever. That would make sense, but I know there's some of them, like I think Ajak, she like knows everything and she communicates with the Celestials, at least from like the leaks that we've heard. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see the movie. I'm excited for the Eternals. I didn't like the teaser trailer that they showed, but I am excited for the movie. I think maybe one of them calls them back and they start having flashbacks about their lives. Yeah, that, or maybe something happens. Maybe Thanos snaps and they all start to remember. Or maybe it's like maybe it's not the first snap or Hulk snap, but it's Iron Man snap that brings their memories back or something like that, right? Because they were talking about the giant energy surge, and that'll probably lead into the X-Men, but maybe that brings their memories back, or yeah, something like what you said. Someone, one of the Eternals causes them to remember. I wonder what the Deviant's role is in this film. Yeah, so that's something that I've talked about before. Um, and I'm making a video about it. That'll release, you know, sometime. But it's the Deviants to me feel like throwaway villains, right? You have 10 Eternals in the movie. You have uh 10 Eternals plus Black Knight. You have all of the Celestials. You're trying to cover thousands of years of Marvel history. There's a possibility that Namor will appear or at least be introduced. And like the sinking of Atlantis. And then you have the Deviants who are supposed to be the main villains, right? Yet we didn't see them in the trailer at all. And we've barely gotten like any leaks or like the only thing that we've seen from the Deviants are from toy leaks. And I just feel like there's too much that they're trying to include in the movie for them to be like to play a big role. I read the OG Eternals run once. They did hang out with the professor a lot. Teachers would make sense. Yeah, you mean kind of like a Thor Don Blake reference? Yeah. I feel like the main villain is a Celestial gone rogue. Like at the end of the trailer when they're all looking at the sky, that'd be interesting. The Eternals fighting a giant Celestial, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, they probably won't have too much time for the Deviants. Yeah, which would be a shame because the Deviants are such cool villains. Like especially from the toy leak that we got. I'll see if I can pull it up. With the toy leak that we got of the Deviants, it makes it looks pretty cool. Um, Although it looks more like a symbiote. So this is what the Deviant's supposed to look like in the movie, right? This is the leader, Crow. He kind of looks more like like a symbiote, but I think he looks cool. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe is designated Earth 96283. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is from Earth 120703. Fox X-Men universe is Earth. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so they could definitely travel to them in, one of the multiversal movies because they have their own universes that exist. Just like the MCU is like 999 nine, like a bunch of nines, right? I bet they'll only be in the movie enough to justify toy sales. Then they'll get fleshed out later. Yeah, I can see that happening. But like, the deviants, I feel like are supposed to be the main villains, right? Because the Celestials created the deviant, and then they saw that the deviants like became evil, so they created the Eternals to get rid of them, right? So that should be like it's a battle that should make sense. There was a link that says that Ajax and the strong dude dies and Ikaris kills Ajax. Yeah, so that's something that I've talked about before, that some of the Eternals have to die, right? There's no way that they can flesh out 10 different characters, 11 if you count Black Knight, and like keep them in the MCU forever. So I feel like Ajax is most likely gonna die. Gilgamesh, Kingo, or the other one, or Phastos, are also probably gonna die. Seems like a very Disney thing to do. Yeah, just sell the toys. Give me a second. Okay. Um, exactly where would Marvel give the universe designations if it was not a part of the multiverse and we're never gonna see them again? Yeah. So I mean, hopefully we'll see them again, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to. I think it's just like, you make a universe, you want to give it a designation. Uh, but I mean, after Spider-Man No Way Home, we probably will at least see the Amazing Spider-Man universe and Raimiverse at least a few more times. They do have to kill some for sure. Yeah, I feel like 11 characters, main characters, is too much. Um, and it's probably gonna be like one of the guys. I have a feeling that they won't kill off. I believe it's Phastos, who's gay, right? You don't want to kill your gay character in the first movie, so I would assume that Gilgamesh will probably die first. Um, and then Sprite and Makari, I don't know about them. Like, to me, they're not the most interesting. I'm more interested in Druig and Ikaris. Um, so I would assume that Sprite and Makari could possibly die as well. Ikaris, Cersei, Athena, they'll probably like stay around for a while. And it also says at the end of the film they all split up, I assume is what you meant to type. I think Kang the Conqueror is going to be in Loki because I don't think female Loki is the main villain. Yeah, so it is rumored that Kang will appear, right? We're getting the Timekeepers already. Kang the Conqueror will appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And since Loki technically connects to that movie because of the time travel, it would make sense to at least hint at him and kind of introduce him now. Hugh Jackman is in talks to come into the MCU as a multiverse version of Wolverine. Where do you hear that? Because that'd be awesome if it happened. There's no way they kill the diverse characters. Yeah, that's basically what I meant to say. Because I mean, I'm not against it, but you don't want to introduce your first gay character to the MCU, a female speedster who, I think she's deaf, right? She does sign language, and or is it Sprite that does sign language? Either way, you don't want to kill either one of them off. Um, and like the rest of the cast isn't that essential, right? You have like your main ones, Ikaris, maybe Druig, Cersei, Black Knight. Those are really the only ones that need to stay. I like Makari in the comics. Cersei was probably my favorite though. She was funny. That's good. A Hugh cameo would be great. Yeah, honestly, if Hugh Jackman returns, even if it is a small cameo in Multiverse of Madness, Deadpool 3, whatever, I'd be happy. I guess the Eternals is how the Inhumans were supposed to be. Uh, I'm not sure what you mean. You'd have to explain yourself. It's Makari because she blew her ears out or whatever by going fast. Oh, that makes sense. That'd be pretty cool to like maybe like thousands of years ago when they get their powers, or if they're born with them, then it doesn't really make sense. But like if they have to do something that kind of like activates their powers, and then she becomes a speedster and runs too fast, and becomes deaf, that'd be pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my allergies are starting to kick in really badly now. So sorry about that. I wonder why there were a lot of mentions about Captain America in the trailer. Yeah, I saw that too, right? Because at the beginning, when they were when Thena was sparring, there was a guard or whatever holding a shield similar to Captain America's, and then at the end of the trailer, when they're all like in a train or wherever they are, they have like a little bar and Sprite singing. And then in the background, you can see like the original Captain America shield that he used in the first Avenger. It's just hanging there in like their bar. And then when Sprite or whatever says that like Iron Man and Captain America are gone, like who's gonna lead the Avengers? And then Icarus is like, well, I could lead them. So I feel like there's gonna be there has to be some connection to the Avengers, right? But I just don't understand if there is a connection to the Avengers, then why did the Eternals show up for Thanos? So I guess that also, like you're saying, that also kind of goes back to Captain America telling them not to interfere. But then it doesn't make sense to me. So what upcoming show or movie are you guys most excited for? I think this year, like uh from now to the end of the year, I think Shang-Chi is the movie that I'm the most excited for, and What If is the show that I'm most excited for. I'm excited for No Way Home, but that movie's obviously gonna be good, especially with all the villains and multiverse stuff. But I think like Shang-Chi being a new like character to introduce into the MCU, and from what we saw in the trailer, I think it's gonna be really good. Uh, 2022, it's obviously gonna be Doctor Strange, and for the show, it's probably Moon Knight. But from what we've heard about She-Hulk, I'm starting to get really excited for that show as well. And then 2023 is probably Fantastic Four and Armor Wars. Um, if he went back in time, would he had to go too far because the Eternals are like a thousands of years old? Yeah, so I guess maybe when he returns the stones and Thor's hammer, he could have run into them. I guess that kind of makes sense. But you have to think about it again. If he's only going back to the times where they went to get the stones, there's really no chance of him running into the Eternals, right? Maybe Doctor Strange told him to stay back, not enough sorcerers to make portals. I mean, there were like thousands of characters in the final fight. Arbor Wars, yeah, Arbor Wars is the one that is the show that I'm the most excited for as well. Marvel is looking to Carl Urban to be MCU Wolverine. God, these allergies. I'm sorry. Uh, Miss Marvel. I'm confused. Why there was an Eternals trailer before Miss Marvel? If it's projected to be in the fall, and November is like the last fall month. Yeah. So I think Marvel still the thing that Marvel's doing is they're releasing like the trailer for the next show like halfway through the current show, right? So during the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they started promoting Loki. Halfway through Loki, I assume that they're gonna start promoting What If. So I think they need less time to promote the Disney Plus shows, whereas they need a couple months in advance for the movies. So um A martial arts movie in the MCU will be great. Yeah, I'm really super excited for it. I wish they would have had the Mortal Kombat style tournament like it was leaked before, but from what we've seen in the trailer and like the plot leaks that we've gotten recently, it sounds really good. Uh, Carl Urban, he was Scourge, right? Is Scourge an MCU character? Because if he is, I don't remember. Don't apologize about your allergies. I completely understand they suck. Hope you start feeling better soon, though. Yeah, okay, so you guys want to hear my allergy story? So I've been allergic to cats for practically my whole life, right? Um, I every time there was a cat, like we went over to a neighbor's house or something, and there was a cat, like my eyes would get red. I couldn't breathe, and so it's always been bad. So we've tried to stay away from cats. But my little brother has been asking for a cat for like years now. And so in September of last year, my mom finally got him a cat for his birthday. So we've had the cat for almost a year now, and I just have these awful allergies always. Like they just don't go away. So that is why I have allergies. It's not, because of a cold or anything. So yeah. Uh I think it's a chance that Mephisto could still be in one of these projects. Yeah, there's definitely a chance for him to appear in something in 2022, but they said that he's not going to appear in Loki. The stained glass window that was in like the church in France that Mobius saw in the first episode of Loki, the creator said that it was a reference to Loki, not to Mephisto. So, unfortunately, yeah. Scourge was the dude working with Hela in Thor Ragnarok. Was it the guy that plays Billy in The Boys? Because if it's not him, then I have no idea who you're talking about. Scourge. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this guy. That's what I thought. This guy right here. Yeah. And then he becomes like good at the end, right? So that's cool. But I mean, he kind of already has had a role in the MCU, although he did die. So, um, the executioner with Des and Troy. Sadly, I don't think Mephisto will be in the MCU. Disney simps for China way too hard. Well, I mean, I've seen recently that they, maybe it's just wishful thinking, but that they're starting to care less about China. I don't know if that will ever happen, but hopefully, if they do eventually, we'll start seeing less pandering to China. But either way, I know China kind of has like their no devil thing, but they could still introduce Mephisto, right? Like, wasn't there the whole problem with the Mandarin because he was like a Fu Manchu, like a reference to Fu Manchu, and that's why China's mad at Shang-Chi because they're introducing the Mandarin. Uh I have one of those black masks that you use during puberty, and watching this live is making the time fly by. I'm uncomfortable with the mask, but this makes me more comfortable. I have no idea what you're talking about. A black mask for puberty? Um, I'm sorry, but I have no idea what that is. That sounds funny though. Yeah, China hates Shang-Chi from what I heard. Hopefully Disney breaks away. Yeah, I heard that they didn't want the Eternals because of the gay character. Because obviously China is like that, but also because Shang-Chi because of the Mandarin. Which, I mean, sucks for them because both of those movies are hopefully going to be good, so. But, yeah. If you think about it from a monetary standpoint, right, from a monetary point, the US box office gets like tripled by China, right? Like Infinity War makes like $300 million in the US and then passes $1 billion when it goes to China. So from the monetary like point, yeah, it makes sense for them to want to pander to China. But then again, like you don't want to change your whole movie or like affect your movie just because of making more money. It's funny how instead of rings, it's bracelets that he uses. Yeah, I found that funny too. But here's my theory as to why they're rings, right? In the comics and in the Iron Man show, they were rings, right? The Mandarin had the 10 rings. But the 10 rings were created by the Moklins, right? These giant dragons. So what if in Shang-Chi they are actually bracelets, but they're bracelets because they're the size of rings for a dragon, right? That would make sense. I can imagine people from China coming to the US to watch the movies in theaters. That's a stretch, but you could always like pirate it or just watch it on Disney Plus, I guess. But if they wanted to watch the movie that badly, then yeah, I guess. Also, all right, so I'm going on vacation soon, so that's why I'm starting to make more videos for you guys. I've got a couple that will come out during vacation, so that you guys obviously have videos. And one of them that I'm doing is I'm ranking every MCU movie and show so far. Um, and so I think it's gonna be a pretty funny video that I hope you guys like, because I rank them. Uh, like I actually rank them, but I also do it in a funny way. So, uh, hopefully you guys will like it. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna change the powers because the rings are too OP. No, I mean after the Infinity Stones, give me something more OP, right? Like I know that the 10 rings aren't as strong as the Infinity Stones, but now that they're kind of gone and they're paperweights in Loki, we need something new. Although the 10 rings kind of really only affect like stay in that Shang-Chi universe, right? We're not gonna see like Thor 5 and Thor is using the 10 rings. He puts them on Mjolnir's handle. So did you guys hear that the US the UK, my bad, gets Black Widow 2 days before? So I think here in the US we get it on July 9th, and in the UK they get it on July 7th. So you guys are lucky if you live in the UK. I hope they don't change the powers up. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like all 10 rings. Yeah, more comic accuracy. So if they change it to like, I don't know, like one stops time or whatever, like yeah, that'd be cool, but why not just give us the 10 rings for the comics? Like I don't see any reason to change it. Uh I'm gonna sell copies of the movies for like $1 and send them to China. That's easy money. Yeah. Just pirate like Spider-Man No Way Home or Shang-Chi or the Eternals and just send it there. Make your own pirating company. I feel like Taskmaster is gonna be a waste. Yeah, so I think all right, so once again, from plot leaks that we've heard, right? Take it with a grain of salt, whatever. Whether you want to believe it or not. They've said that Taskmaster in Black Widow will be one of Natasha's childhood friends, right? Someone from the Red Room. But then at the end of the movie, they'll die, right? When Natasha escapes the Red Room, that friend almost dies, and her father, who is like the leader of the Red Room, rebuilds her as Taskmaster. But then at the end of the movie, she like makes up with Natasha, and she ends up dying. And so, Thunderbolt Ross ends up getting the blueprints to create a new Taskmaster. And so I think that yes, the Taskmaster that we'll see in Black Widow will be a kind of waste, but it'll set up the Taskmaster that will end up joining the Thunderbolts later on down the line. The real villains are the space lizards who created the TVA. They're preventing the multiverse from happening. I bet Loki and Owen Wilson will take them down. Yeah, if we actually see the Timekeepers, that would be awesome. Because you know, there people say that one of them is Kang, and so if one of them actually is Kang, that'd be cool. If not, well, I have to ask the foreign exchange student that just went back to England to record the movie and give it to me. Yeah, you get it 2 days early. Just record it from Disney Plus and send it to you. Yeah. Although he might have a hard time because when Loki episode 1 came out, I was trying to take screenshots of the actual episode and my computer wouldn't let me. It's let me do it in the past. Like I've done it before for all the other episodes for WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But for this last episode of Loki, it didn't let me for some reason. What do you think the odds are on Fei Fang Foom showing up in Shang-Chi? I think 0. I think we're gonna get the Great Protector and that's it. I think best case scenario, we get him as a post credit scene for Shang-Chi too. But I don't think he's gonna play a big role in the movie. Yeah, Taskmaster could have a future in the MCU, like with the Thunderbolts and him fighting with Deadpool with the comic history they have. Yeah, imagine Deadpool fighting Taskmaster. That'd be hilarious. That's something that I want to see in the MCU. I also want to see Ryan Reynolds Deadpool with Spider-Man. I think that'd be pretty funny, like in the comics. So, did you guys get a chance to watch E3? And if you did, what were the games that you guys saw that you guys were excited for? Because I didn't really get a chance to see it. So, I heard some of the games, Elden Ring, Mario plus Rabbids, 2, and there's like Stars of Hope or something. Uh, there were a couple other games, but nothing really like grabbed my attention. I think the game that I'm most excited for is Ratchet and Clank, but I don't have a PS5, so I can't play it. And then the next game that I'm really excited for is Pokemon Legends, the Arceus game. Like I really like Nintendo, but I think that's like the game that I'm most excited for. I couldn't care less for the Diamond and Pearl remix though. They went back to the chibi form, and I absolutely hate it. Um, they wasted a majority of the Iron Man villains. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm glad that Justin Hammer is coming back because now they can give him like a better story, I guess. But yeah, the Whip guy, Aldrich Killian, like he was supposed to set up AIM, and then what happened, right? Like nothing happened with him. He just died. Um, when the Minutemen clip or erase a branch universe with those devices, they're killing a whole universe, trillions of people, they're evil. Yeah, so I talked about that before. I don't actually think that they're destroying that universe, right? If you watch Dragon Ball Super, like Goku has the Zeno button, and when he's fighting Zamasu, the fused Zamasu with Goku Black, he calls Zeno and erases that universe. I don't think that's what they're doing. What I think they're doing with the charge is they're resetting the timeline to before that event happened, right? Before the variant went off the chosen path. I think that's what they're doing. Um, but it could be either way. Earlier this week, a group chat that I'm in was arguing over who the better Spider-Man was, and all the girls said Tom because he's hot, and they have not even seen any of his movies in the MCU. Um, I didn't have to agree. Tom's hot. No, I don't know. I like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. If I had to rank them, I'd say Tom just because of the MCU, just because he has this giant playground that he can interact with all these other characters. Iron Man, Civil War. He interacted with all these characters. Then I would say Tobey because those were like the movies that I grew up watching. And then I'd say Andrew is probably the last. Um, None of the games were really eye catching. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that was just because of it, if it was like the first day of E3, or if it was just all of COVID and now like everything's starting to get back to normal. They didn't have much time, or they weren't able to get much done over this past year. But yeah, the games didn't catch my eye either. Like there was like the Battlefield trailer and all that stuff, but I'm not growing up. I didn't play Battlefield and Call of Duty and all those games, so it's not something that I'm interested in. Tom is the best, then Tobey, then Andrew. Pretty sure that's just accepted fact. Yeah, that's what I'd say. But I think it depends more on like when you grew up, right? If you grew up watching Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, then maybe he'll be your favorite. Right? If you started watching Spider-Man in 2002, then Tobey. But I feel like even if you don't like Tom Spider-Man, right? Which is the most comic accurate Spider-Man, right? He's a teenager, he's annoying, he like makes quips and jokes and stuff. Just the fact that he has this giant universe to play with of all these interconnected characters, I think just pushes him to the top. Um, I truly believe that Fantastic Four is going to be featured in one of these films because why would they have an origin story for their movie? Yeah, I don't think so. Having the Fantastic Four appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania or something would be awesome, but if they do the Fantastic Four, I don't think that they're gonna like re-explain their backstory, right? They already did it in the Fantastic Four. They did it again in 2015 Fantastic Four. So I think for the MCU, they'll just like dive straight into his story, just like Spider-Man. They won't show like Spider-Man getting bit by the spider. They won't show them getting their powers. Then maybe they'll like reference it, or they'll show it like in a preview in a next movie, like in a flashback or something. But versus Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir, yeah, from the Into the Spider-Verse. What's your favorite Spider-Man? Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Yeah, no, it's the animated Nick Cage, Spider-Man Noir from Into the Spider-Verse. uh, Toby feels more comic accurate. Andrew definitely has the best origin story, and Tom has that universe where he has the liberty to have other heroes with him. I mean, does Toby really feel comic accurate? Because, like, isn't Spider-Man in the comics, like, a young teenager? Like, and then Toby, like, even in the first Spider-Man movie was already much older than that, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's been a while since I watched the movie. Maybe you're right, but either way, I don't really think it matters, right? Spider-Man No Way Home, we're getting all three Spider-Man back, so uh they should have Mole Man as the villain. Yeah, I think for a Fantastic Four movie, they shouldn't start with Doctor Doom. They shouldn't go Galactus, Silver Surfer. They should, like, they've already done Doom twice and practically messed him up. I think go with Mole Man, go with the Super Scroll, go with something like something small, and then build up to Doctor Doom with his own show. Include him in Black Panther 3, right? Connect him to Scarlet Witch. I think they may reinsert this variant Loki into the main MCU timeline because the main MCU Loki was killed by Thanos, and the variant Loki universe was destroyed. And like Owen Wilson said, he can't go back. I think that would be really interesting. If they reinsert him back into the MCU timeline, we have Loki again, and then maybe for Thor 5, they could like introduce Loki again. Catch him up with Chris Hemsworth Thor, everything that he does in Thor Love and Thunder and everything that happened in Loki. I think that'd be pretty interesting to see them. Right, because Thor, basically his whole story, right, was losing everyone. He lost his mom, he lost his dad, he lost Loki. So if he gets Loki back, I think that'd be pretty cool. I feel like the best chance of them appearing is the third Ant-Man because of Kang. Yeah, I agree too. He's one of those cool high schools where everyone is 30 years old. Yeah. Toby does look a little old, but he was in high school in the first one, and a second movie, I think it was a 2-year time skip, and Spider-Man 3 picks up immediately from the second movie. Yeah, so, like, yes, he was in high school, but what I'm saying is, like, he just looks a little old in that movie. Although it was, like, 20 years ago, so maybe he was the right age. I don't know. I like one of their first villains in the Fantastic Four. That would be really cool. Which villain, though? You mean, like, Mole Man or Super Skrull? Yeah. They should do. They should do More Man for the first. Oh, I think you meant Mole Man. Yeah, Mole Man for the first Fantastic Four movie. In between the first and second MCU Fantastic Four movie, they should do a big event series on Disney Plus for the coming of Galactus and do it similar to the original comics. The second movie should be a trial of Reed Richards. Meant to say Mole Man before. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. And then you could have like a Doctor Doom Disney Plus show, to set him up too, or maybe a movie or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like, they're doing the Kingdom of Wakanda, show for Disney Plus, so maybe have like the Kingdom of Latveria, and then you could also have like the Kingdom of Atlantis or something. I hope there's a Thor 5. Yeah, so recently Taika Waititi said that he doesn't have any plans to do Thor 5. He said they put everything into Thor 4, but maybe in a few years, right? They see like, oh, they're setting up Secret Wars, now I have an idea for this Thor 5. So maybe he returns. I think that's definitely possible. If Beta Ray Bill is not in the new Thor, I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah. I hope he appears, but I'm not holding my breath. I feel like Spider-Man No Way Home should actually pave the way to a true live-action Spider-Verse. Yeah. So I talked about it before, and if at least the leak that I read is actually Sony's plan, and that's true, then yeah, that is their plan to eventually set up a live-action Spider-Verse, like in the comics with but then they said they would have Aaron Taylor Johnson's Craven lead them instead of Moreland, so it'd be a little bit different, but it would technically be the same thing. First comic villains, yeah. Mole Man be the first one, yeah. But Toby was a senior in Spider-Man 1, and he became Spider-Man at 15, so he would be in 9th grade, maybe 10th, so that's a flaw from the comics. And he became a... Yeah. I mean, I guess. I heard the Dweller in the Dark will be a villain in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I honestly have no idea who that is. But, if you see him, like, MCU movies, they technically have like a smaller villain, and then they build up to the bigger villain. So he definitely, Dweller in the Dark could definitely be a villain in Doctor Strange 2, and then have Shuma Gorath be like the main villain. If they kill Korg, I'm not watching Thor 4. Yeah. Uh, yeah, you'll walk out of the theater. It'll definitely be a sad day, but uh, I don't think I'll ever walk out of a Marvel movie. I just love them too much. Korg really has no impact on the story or future events, so I wouldn't care. Come on, man, it's Korg. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have an impact. He's just the best character. Doom popping up in the post credit of Black Panther 2 would be cool. Yeah. Especially if they have like Namor be the villain in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then they set up Doom for the third one. That'd be awesome. And then like if Black Panther 3 comes out like 2025 or 2026, they could have a Disney Plus show in between, like starting to set up Doom, and then already have him fleshed out by the time that Black Panther 3 comes out. I think that would be perfect. Instead of trying to flesh him out in Black Panther, just have like his own show and like flesh out his own story. So what characters would you guys like to see in the MCU the most? Maybe set up like Secret Wars or something. Doom is definitely a top pick for me. Then Magneto. And then I want like Sentry and Hyperion and all those other cosmic characters. Nova. Um, Next, you're gonna tell me it would be fine if they killed Luis. No, I never say that. I love Luis. Luis, Luis and Paul Rudd are what carry the Ant-Man movies. Like Ant-Man 2 wasn't that great, but Luis and Paul Rudd were in it, so it's fine. It's watchable. I wonder if Blade is gonna be rated R. I don't think so. It'd definitely be great if it was, especially since it was delayed, right? Because there were the talks that Blade would be the Marvel movie that came out on October 7th, 2022, but it finally got delayed. So now there's not, because there were two movies that were supposed to release on October 7th, 2022, right? It was Into the Spider-Verse 2, which was Sony's movie, and then there was going to be a Marvel movie as well. And people were saying that it was Blade because of Halloween, whatever. But it's been delayed now to give them more time to write it and stuff. So I guess they could make it rated R. Um, but I think Deadpool 3 is gonna be their first rated R MCU movie, and uh then they're gonna start like venturing deeper into the rated R. Maybe like Doctor Strange 3, and they have the Midnight Suns. They have Moon Knight, Blade, Morbius, all these characters. I think that'd be cool. You were talking to Taylor. Yeah. Well, I at least wouldn't kill Luis, so just letting you know. Gambit's so criminally underused. All right? You want to hear something that happened? So I put all my Funko Pops back in their boxes, right? Because I had them all. Okay, so I had them on shelves. I had the boxes, and then the Funko Pops standing in front. Because I like to display them. But a couple of them don't stand up great, and one of the ones that didn't stand up was my Gambit. I have Gambit, and he's a pretty cool Funko Pop. But he was on my shelf, and he wasn't one that stood up great. So I bought a stand for him, and I taped him, and he was standing up fine. So I wasn't really paying attention to him. And then my mom came into my room like 2 days ago, and then she was like, "Oh, is that Funko Pop new?" And I was like, "No, those have been there for a while." And then the one above, the one that she was pointing at, was Gambit, and I was like, "Wait, where'd my Gambit go?" And so I'm pretty sure that he kept leaning forward and eventually fell off my shelf, landed in my trash can. I didn't realize, and I threw the trash out. So now I have the Gambit box, and I have no Gambit. And I'm super angry about that. But what can you do? Blade cannot even compete with Spider-Verse 2. Yeah, I'm super excited for Spider-Verse 2 as well. Especially if they have like Spider-Man 2099 and a bunch of other Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I'm super excited to see him. Um, I would mind them killing Luis. He's literally just a comedy relief character. Yeah, but that's what's good about him. And like, yes, he's a comedy relief character, but he does his job perfectly. You made it. Thanks for coming, Super Boo. You're only like an hour and 30 minutes late, but it's fine. Um, yeah, but they explained why they didn't stop the Avengers though, right? They said because Loki said that he was like, oh well, it's the Avengers' fault that I'm here. It's the Avengers' fault that I have the Tesseract. But then the judge lady, she was like, no, the Avengers were supposed to do that, right? You're the one that went off the path. So yeah, it's a little weird that the Avengers were allowed to like mess with time, but according to the TVA, that's what was supposed to happen. So I just want them to set up a big thing like Secret Wars, Young Avengers, and Secret Invasion. Yeah, so Secret Invasion is coming, right? The Disney Plus show is coming. The Young Avengers are coming. They're being set up. America Chavez, Eli Bradley, Patriot, right? Cassie Lang, Wiccan and Speed. Hulkling's probably gonna end up being introduced soon. Um, the Young Avengers are definitely coming. Whether they get a Disney Plus show or a movie in the future is we just have to wait and see. And then Secret Wars, Loki practically set that up by saying the multiverse of war that could happen, right? So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see. And if you remember, the Russo brothers who directed Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I'm pretty sure they also directed Captain America: Civil War, and then they directed Infinity War and Endgame. They said that they would return for Secret Wars. So maybe they'll make it a trilogy this time instead of just two movies. Since the Avengers saved the universe, the TVA give them a pass. After all, they saved the universe so they can get a pass. But when Loki steals a stone, he gets captured. Well, I mean, it's not favoritism. You kind of explained it, right? They saved the universe, whereas Loki escaped. He didn't save. He like messed everything up. So yeah, I guess sure. Um, it's not It could be seen as favoritism, but like in all honesty, it does make sense because they had a mission. Loki just saw an opportunity and escaped. And so had they not picked favorites, then we wouldn't get the Loki show. So, um, did you know about this Hulu show named MODOK? You already watched it. I was actually super excited going into MODOK, and then after watching it, I was kind of disappointed. It wasn't my favorite show. Like the stop motion was cool, the show was funny, um, but it wasn't what I expected. Like it wasn't that funny. Like there were just some funny parts, but most of it I was just kind of watching it, just like more like I was more entertained by the Easter eggs that I kept seeing. Right, like the Wonder Man episode was pretty good. The one where MODOK made friends with the villains, and they were like, there were some pretty good Easter eggs in that one. But other than that, like, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite show. Um, but more Luis recaps. How could anyone be fine with that? Tell me. Yeah, so what they should have done with Luis is instead of making Marvel Legends, like since they're making Marvel Legends, they should have had Luis narrate the Marvel Legends episodes. I think that would have been perfect. Um, because he has no impact on anything. Yeah, like okay, I see where you're both coming from, and I'm taking Nathan's side because not every character has to have an impact, right? And like Ant-Man has established itself as being those funny over the top movies, and I think Luis is perfect for that. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't want him to die, but I can see why some people might not care. Also, yeah, Spider-Verse 2 will have Spider-Man Noir, no competition for my money. If Nathan, if you had to pick between Blade and Spider-Verse 2, which one would you watch? MODOK is more funnier than the first half of WandaVision with the sitcom bits. Uh, yeah, I guess I can see that. But overall, I liked WandaVision more. Although I was disappointed because we didn't get any of the Easter eggs that we wanted to see. No Mephisto, no Wonder Man, no Blue Marvel, no Grim Reaper. Um, I don't know. Overall, I still like the story WandaVision told better. I wonder if AIM is gonna be done right. I hope so. I hope they introduce AIM soon because right? We got Aldrich Killian in Iron Man 3, who was supposed to set up AIM, or I mean, technically it did, but then we just never saw anything and anything else right after that. I think we just need to see like a proper MODOK in the MCU. Like, have Patton Oswalt, who played MODOK in the Hulu stop motion show, play MODOK in the MCU as well. I think that'd be cool. They should make a documentary called "Where's Mephisto." Don't do that to me, please. Please don't do that to me. Just give me Mephisto. Why make a documentary playing Where's Waldo with me? Just give me Mephisto. That's a toughie. Blade is MCU, so it'll factor into other stuff. Yeah. You have to pick one. Um, Honestly, no offense to Blade, but I think that I would pick Spider-Verse 2. For you, Spider-Verse 2 has Spider-Man Noir. For me, Spider-Verse 2 has Spider-Man. So yeah, I'd be there in the theaters with you. The creator of MODOK says that it's Marvel's choice if they want to link it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I guess they could link the stop motion aspect to like What If or something, but I don't think they'll link MODOK to the overall MCU. I think Mephisto will appear in Blade or a Ghost Rider series. Yeah, that seems like the best spot. And wasn't Mephisto in like the original Ghost Rider movie with Nick Cage? You would say Spider-Verse 2? Yeah, I'd probably pick Spider-Verse 2 as well. Unless we hear something else about Blade, that like just pushes it over the top, I think Spider-Verse 2, and I just watch Blade the next day. Or I'd go watch Spider-Verse 2 first and then Blade right after. Yeah, if they don't have Luis recap the Legends, the Ant-Man Quantumania Legends episodes, it'll be a waste. I just want to know if they're gonna do Legends episodes for the movies, right? Because we've gotten, this is our third Disney Plus show, and we've gotten Legends episodes for all of them. So we'll have to wait and see what if we get anything for Black Widow. Because if they don't do it for Black Widow, then that means that they probably won't do it for the other movies, which would be a shame. But like, especially if they're new movies, like Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is not gonna get a Legends episode because we haven't seen anything in that in that universe yet. If they do link it, they could do the thing that Star Wars does with the animated stuff being canon to the live action movies and shows. Yeah, and that's what they're gonna do with What If, because What If is apparently going to tie into and connect to the MCU, right? So, and I mean, if you guys have watched the Bad Batch, right? Clone Wars, Legends, the Bad Batch, it's all great. I don't have any problem with Star Wars being both live action and animated. Um, what's up, Wayman? It's no way Blade couldn't be rated R. Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of people want Blade and Moon Knight to be rated R, but I honestly don't see Marvel doing anything rated R until after Deadpool 3. But I mean, I could always be wrong, right? And maybe that's one of the reasons why they pushed Blade back. Maybe they're pushing Blade back till after Deadpool 3, and we will see a rated R Blade. So there's always a chance. We could probably get a Legends episode for Iron Man because he'll be in the movie. For Shang-Chi? Is that what you're talking about? I don't think Iron Man will be in Shang-Chi. Although that'd be awesome. Bring back Robert Downey Jr. But if you're talking about the Fin Fang Foom Easter egg that was in Iron Man 2, or in the first Iron Man, I think, then yeah, maybe. That would make more sense. Although still, it wouldn't really tie into the movie because, Iron Man's dead, but... Right, like if you guys remember in the first Iron Man movie, there was this poster, uh, which is supposedly Fin Fang Foom, so that'd be cool. Remember when the season finale, when MODOK finally took over the world and it gave us an Easter egg which shows the weapons from the Avengers? Did it? I probably wasn't paying attention then. Because I remember that the end, he was like, he was trying to save his family, right? But then eventually he just decided to like create his utopia that he always wanted. And then he got like his past self version and he was trying to like go back in time to save them or something. So yeah, there definitely could have, I guess there definitely could be some connection to the overall MCU. That's still really weird for me to imagine animation being canon to the MCU. I don't even know why I love the Clone Wars. Yeah, so I had that same problem at the beginning, right? When What If was announced and they first started saying that it was gonna connect to the MCU and be canon, I was like, man, I don't like that. I don't think that's gonna be good. But then I remembered like the Clone Wars and I was like, wait. And then I started watching the Bad Batch and I was like, yeah, you know what? This actually won't be such a bad idea. Oh, okay, Black Widow, Black Widow. Okay, yeah, all right, that makes sense. Yeah, having a an Iron Man Legends episode, they could definitely include Iron Man, but I assume that it'll just be scenes from like Iron Man 2. Oh, okay. If you mean from Iron Man 2, then yeah, that can make more sense. But they'll have like scenes from like Iron Man 2, from Civil War, uh The Winter Soldier, and then Infinity War and Endgame. Give us a Legends episode for Trevor Slattery. Yeah. I I really hope that Trevor Slattery returns in Shang-Chi. Like, it would suck, but even giving us like the Mandarin, like showing an example and killing Trevor Slattery, just that would be like enough for me. Although I wish that Trevor could stay in the MCU longer. Yeah, MODOK's throne had Iron Man's helmet on it. Well, if it had all of the Avengers weapons, um, so MODOK's like nemesis was Iron Man, right? That's why he appeared in the MODOK show. So him having his helmet makes sense. And if he had like the rest of the Avengers weapons, it would technically like connect to that universe. It doesn't, I guess, technically connect to the MCU, but still they could make that connection, I guess. Um, I really hope they add Galactus. Yeah, hopefully Galactus will appear in the MCU soon. What movie or show would you want Galactus to appear in first if you could choose, Mista? I don't want Trevor to die, but more Trevor would still be great. Yeah, like more Trevor. I need more Trevor. Even if he does die, I would prefer he didn't. But even if he does, that'd be fine for me. I hope MODOK can come into the MCU, and I hope they can make him a little bit more of a serious Marvel villain. Yeah. Um. Yeah. And if it was me, honestly, I wouldn't. I would stop killing villains off. Like, I get, yeah, some of them like die, but still, um, if you don't kill them off, like imagine if Ultron wouldn't have been destroyed, or if Hela or something wouldn't have been just killed, right? There's always like these chance that these villains could come back later down the line in these other Marvel stories and stuff. I feel like Trevor was a waste, but glad to see the real Mandalorian. um, so Trevor being the Mandarin was retconned, I believe, because he wasn't Asian. But I still think he was funny. He was like one of my favorite parts of Iron Man 3. In the Eternals or Loki, I think both of those could be great places, but I think it's way too early. Um, so yeah. Big Black Cloud Galactus for the MCU 2024. Please no. God no. They just bring back the Fantastic Four 2 Galactus. They're like, well, you see the multiverse, so we just brought this one back. A solo Silver Surfer movie is where Galactus should appear. Yeah, that'd be a good way to hit two words with one stone. Two birds with one stone. Show Galactus's show the Silver Surfer's origin, right? Norrin Rad. And then make him the Herald of Galactus. And at the same time, you can also show some of Galactus's origin, or like, some of Galactus's story from that point forward after he meets the Silver Surfer. They need to stop killing villains. I still think they could bring Ultron back. There's no way he didn't download himself on like a flash, yeah, at least onto a flash drive. Yeah, I would assume that he's probably somewhere still in the somewhere on the internet, or maybe in Avengers Tower, right? Maybe Norman Osborn, after buying Avengers Tower, finds Ultron hidden somewhere on a flash drive, and then like re-uploads him and recreates him. The Loki series is marvelously spectacular. Excelsior. Yeah, I really liked the first episode. I really liked how Loki like has grown as a character, right? We've seen his whole progression from being the actual god of mischief to being right, and Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Endgame, or Infinity War, to being this actually like genuinely good person. And then even though this version is from 2012, after seeing his own death, like he eventually got back to that same place. And I really like that character progression um that we've gotten for him. Multiverse Cloud Galactus, how hilarious would that be? Imagine, right? They've said that like the Nexus beings are the same character in every single universe. Imagine we just get Galactus is also a Nexus being. He's just the same big cloud in every single Marvel movie. Raimiverse Galactus, Cloud. Tasmverse Galactus, Cloud. Fantastic Four Galactus, Cloud. X-Men Galactus, Cloud. That would be the biggest Marvel troll ever. Yeah, but you know Marvel. They love their trolls. You want Evan Peters as Quicksilver? Nah, he's Ralph Boner. That would be great. Osborn and Ultron teaming up. How awesome would that be? Yeah, and imagine that Ultron is the one that makes him like his new Iron Man armor and sets up the Dark Avengers. And that'd be pretty cool. I can't wait to get Norman Osborn in the MCU, because then that could set up finally the Dark Avengers, and then we could get the Sentry, and then eventually down the line, whether it's at the end of Loki or Loki season 2 or something, when we get the Squadron Supreme, we could finally see the Sentry fight Hyperion. J.K. Simmons equals J. Jonah Jameson. Galactus equals Cloud. Canon. Yeah. No matter where you look, Galactus is a Cloud. Just get used to it. Is this like the fourth Fantastic Four reboot? Yeah, it would be the third, right? Because there was the original one that had the two movies. Right, it was the original Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom, and the second one was with the Silver Surfer and Galactus, and then there was the 2015 Fantastic Four or the Fantastic Four with the four in it, and that was like the worst movie ever made. And so the MCU's Fantastic Four will be the third reboot, technically. Just gonna make something like this my background. I hope they add Dormammu in more movies. Yeah, especially like we talked about before. Dormammu falls in the same boat as Galactus, right? Being this purple undulating blob. He's not like he should be in the comics, right? And so, and he didn't die, right? Doctor Strange just did the like rewind time thing until he broke him. So having him appear in more movies down the line would be awesome. I do think they jumped the Loki character development a bit. I think he changed to a good guy a little too fast. Maybe that's just me. Or maybe that's what he wants you to think, right? You know Loki is like this crazy manipulator. So maybe he thinks that by tricking Owen Wilson, by telling him what he wants to hear, that's how he'll get out of the TVA faster. And maybe he hasn't changed at all. I really don't like the idea of Ironheart. Yeah. I don't know. The way that I see it is, until we watch it, I'll be excited for it. And if it's disappointing, like, after we watch it, then oh well. But, like, I'm not going to start hating on these shows yet, right? I don't see any point in hating on them before they even come out. Because it could always be great, right? We could always see her, and we could always see Ironheart tie into Armor Wars and have her be like this genius that helps out Rhodey, fixes his Iron Man suits, makes some new ones. I don't know. I think there's potential for the show, even if it's not the greatest. Galactus, how scary, I'm terrified. Yeah, you better be. You see this cloud? Hope to see Sabretooth in the MCU. Yeah, hopefully after the mutants start getting introduced, right? Well, I assume that since he's so popular as well as Wolverine, we'll definitely see him in the Mutants movie. But we'll definitely start seeing the mutants appear before the movie, right? Ursa Major is rumored to appear in Black Widow. Then there's obviously Namor in Black Panther 2, and we'll probably get a couple more sprinkled in throughout, hopefully. If MODOK was in the MCU, how in the heck are they going to deal with the CGI and special effects? Well, just like how they do for every other character. I mean, She-Hulk is going to be this super CGI heavy show, right? Because we're getting She-Hulk, we're getting Hulk, we're getting the Abomination, we're getting the Leader, we're getting Titania. Now there's rumors that we're getting Scar. Scar. So I mean, I think it's gonna be. They can definitely do it, right? Marvel has the money. Marvel has the personnel, right? The people, enough people and talented people to work on it. I just hope that we don't have another Black Panther situation where the CGI, like the team moves on to a different project and the CGI for the third act is just awful. I hope they don't mess with this reboot up. They will not reboot it a fourth time because it's the MCU. If they have it, they consume it, so no more chances. Yeah. So I think, right? When was the last time we got a really, really bad Marvel movie? Captain Marvel was the last one, right? And that wasn't even that bad, right? It was bad, but it wasn't the worst one. And even if they do, by some chance, mess up the Fantastic Four, I don't think it'll be the end of the line. Like, it won't be the end of the world, right? Because they can always just fix it later in the second movie or in a different team-up movie. So, I do really hope that he's faking his good guyness. That would be really great. Yeah, and I mean, from the trailers that we've seen, that we know that he is planning something in the background, right? He does have something else that he's planning. She-Hulk and Ironheart is a passing of the torch mantle of the two Avengers. Yeah, but I mean, Hulk is gonna appear in She-Hulk, and I don't see Hulk leaving the MCU anytime soon, right? Because Marvel are getting the rights back to Hulk if they haven't already, and so that will allow them to start doing all these crazy Hulk storylines, right? We could get Worldbreaker Hulk, we could get all these Hulks that we haven't seen in the MCU yet because they weren't able to do it, right? We could see Hulk versus Wolverine. Why didn't they actually show Galactus in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer? I don't know. If I knew, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have enough money in the budget. Maybe they thought that this was a better idea. I can't tell you why they made a Cloud. I just don't like all the Kid Genius characters. They're just too OP. None of them actually seem like children. Yeah, we have like Lunala, Lafayette. We have Ironheart. We have Mr. Fantastic's daughter. But then there's also like really smart adult characters too, like Hank Pym, Tony Stark, Reed Richards. So I guess it kind of balances out, even if it doesn't make the most sense. What made them think him being a Cloud was a good idea? I think because the budget or the CGI effects. Yeah, I would assume that's why they didn't have a good budget. They didn't have a large enough budget, or the CGI wasn't good enough. Because the same thing happened with Parallax in the Green Lantern movie, right? So I don't know. Hopefully they've learned their lesson. Hopefully we'll get a good Galactus. Captain Marvel is my favorite MCU movie, but they screwed up horribly with some things. Is it really? I think you're the first person that said Captain Marvel is their favorite movie, and that's fine as long as it's not Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, the last really bad one was Fantastic Four, the 2015 one. Yeah, I hate Captain Marvel, but the movie was mediocre, not terrible. So, do you hate Captain Marvel or do you hate Brie Larson, or do you hate them both? So I don't know. I feel like if Marvel would have gone a different direction with a different actress, maybe Captain Marvel could have been better. Maybe if they had better writers, the movie could have been better. I think there's a lot of stuff that could have been better. I hope in the Hawkeye show we see Kate Bishop joining the Young Avengers. Yeah. So Kate Bishop, as much as I would hate to see Jeremy Renner leave the MCU for good, I feel like that show as well will be a passing of the torch to Kate Bishop, and she'll be like the next, like main Hawkeye. And then we're also gonna get Echo, so she is gonna be another character in the MCU. And then like in the comics, she was the original Ronin, so maybe like Hawkeye passes on the mantle of Ronin to her. I really don't want them to pass the torch. Like, why couldn't you make new characters? Why just female versions of existing characters? So boring. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, in Ironheart's case, we also have Iron Lad, right? We have Harley Keener. So if they pass the torch, there's technically both like a male and female version. I hate Brie Larson. They had many options. So Captain Marvel is your favorite movie, but you hate Brie Larson? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I don't really care. I hope that they fix it with the Marvels, right? Like, Brie Larson could definitely be a good Captain Marvel. I think they just need better writing, and she needs some, like, acting lessons. Like, I don't know how she's been an actress her whole life. She needs to stop looking like a brick all the time. I like Captain Marvel, but I hate Brie Larson. Yeah, that seems to be the main consensus. Captain Marvel is just such a boring character. Brie isn't helping the character's case, but Captain Marvel just sucks. I got legitimately mad when she showed up in Endgame and just talked down to all the other Avengers. Yeah, but I mean, the way that they like introduced her as a super powerhouse, it kind of makes sense, right? She's like strong enough to fly through ships and stuff, so her ego as a character should be high. But yeah, I get how it's annoying. And then they had that really forced female like A-Force team, A-Force scene. So, like, look, you want to do an A-Force movie? Fine, I'll watch it. I'll be excited for it. But it's the same with all these other things, right? Don't force it down our throats. Don't make it, like, find a way to make it interesting, right? Find a way to make it fit. Find a way to make it be valuable to the movie. Not just, ooh, strong women power scene, right? Like, that's not what the MCU needs. Which is another problem. Way too OP. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, isn't she like that in the comics as well? She's just super OP. So don't mention that stupid endgame scene, please. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, like every character is just as OP, right? It just not as consistently. Because we have like old King Phoenix Thor, right? Like, have you guys seen that Thor? Like, old King Phoenix Thor is awesome. He fights like he fights this version of Doctor Doom, who has practically every single Marvel power. Like he has the Starbrand, he has the Iron Fist, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, the Master of Mystic Vengeance. And then old King Phoenix Thor fights him like in the center of the sun for like 99 years, which is insane. And then like there's also like Cosmic King Thor, right, where he becomes like the Herald of Galactus. Um, and then there's like all these strong versions of Hulk, and there's like Captain America even gets the Phoenix Force at one time. So like these characters all do get these super big power-ups, but Captain Marvel, yeah, she's just constantly OP. So I guess that's why some people don't like her. I think Marvel need more animated projects like how DC has it. Yeah. And I think What If is the first step in that, right? So What If, I think, is going to be one of the best shows. And I feel like afterwards, Marvel is going to start focusing more on animated shows, because not only is it right, it should be cheaper because they don't have to do so much CGI. They don't have to get these big actors, right, to appear. So maybe they'll start focusing more on animated stuff, which would be awesome because while DC's movies aren't that coherent and aren't the best when compared to the MCU, their animated universe is insane. Am I the only one that hates Wanda stands on TikTok that say they solo the whole multiverse? I mean, Wanda has proven that she's incredibly strong in the MCU, right? She almost single-handedly defeated Thanos. But yeah, I started a TikTok account and I was pretty active on it for like a month, and then I just gave up. I haven't posted in a while, so, and I don't use TikTok other than that, so I have no idea. Do you think they'll have Beta Ray Bill in the MCU? Yeah, they'll eventually have him. Hopefully in Thor 4, but I'm not exactly 100% sure. Kit Harington's Black Knight and the Eternals needs his own spin-off movie. Yeah, that'd be great. Like, I feel like he's going to be a good character in the MCU, but just the character itself should have a spin-off movie no matter what. Yeah, let's say they didn't start insanely OP. Yeah, yeah. So all these like characters, like they have their base forms, and even if like Thor, they are incredibly strong, they eventually like get stronger, right? Captain Marvel just doesn't lose. Her big thing in the movie was recovering her memory. What character development is that? Yeah, I guess she had like the character development like in the beginning, right? And like the like before becoming Captain Marvel, like she became like this woman that never gave up. But yeah, I understand. Honestly, I hope we get a big. Hold on. Honestly, I hope we get a Guardians game. Yeah, hopefully at E3. Hopefully they'll announce it soon, right? Maybe like give us a teaser or something. Or having them in the Avengers game. Yeah, that'd be cool. I hope the SPUMC and the MCU crossover, then we could see something like the Savage Avengers with Venom and maybe Deadpool. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And have you guys seen how many Venomized Funko Pops there are? Like, it's ridiculous. But imagine if we had a story like that in the MCU where like all of the Avengers got Venomized. That'd be pretty cool. Remember the 2014 timeline universe that was created when Gamora and Thanos and his army left the timeline? Well, no, Gamora means no Guardians of the Galaxy, and no Thanos means no snap. Yeah, maybe that universe was saved from the snap, so maybe Iron Man exists in that universe. I'm hyped for What If and the Lord of the Rings, the War of Rohan. Yeah, I heard that show. Doesn't it have like the highest budget for like any show or movie ever? Isn't it like 500 million? That's insane. However, no Guardians of the Galaxy means that the universe is doomed. No one to stand and stop Ego, and Ego will take over the universe. Yeah, because he planted all his seeds everywhere, right? Guys, I'm gonna be ending the stream at 10, so I'll answer a couple more comments, and then that'll be it. And I'll stream again next Saturday. So get your last comments in, and I'll answer them. I scar my friends for life because I sent this meme of a POV of AC-130 from COD hitting a house and saying that it's the missile that hit the Maximoff house. Oh God. I feel like that sword Athena has in the Eternals is the Ebony Blade. I mean it could, but it kind of suck if they had it too. If they had that, right? Because like if you think of Hela in Ragnarok, didn't she have like Gore the God Butcher's swords, like the Necromancer swords or whatever they're called? And like she kind of just like used them and then like she died and they're kind of gone now. I never realized how many of the Lord of the Ring actors and actresses are in the MCU. I'm not that big of a Lord of the Rings fan. I haven't watched practically any other movies or anything. I've watched the one with like the dragon. That's pretty much it. I don't remember much about it. They're too long. But yeah, maybe the show or is it a show or a movie that's coming out? Because I'll probably watch that when it comes out. I still think that the best thing they could do with Captain Marvel is hand her over to Rogue. I'm done harping on Captain Marvel now. Yeah, it's been like 20 minutes. I don't know. I think they should just. I feel like if they get better writing for Captain Marvel 2, it could be at least a little more enjoyable. All right, at least it won't be as hard to sit through. The 616 universe will appear in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That's the comic book universe, right? That's the main comic universe. That'd be cool. Maybe we get like an Iron Man or a Captain America from that universe. That'd be awesome. There are a ton of Lord of the Rings characters in the MCU. Yeah, I'm not up to date with that, so that's cool. Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman was never really evil. How will they make him evil again in No Way Home? Yeah, so one of the things that they talked about in the latest leak was that like Dr. Octopus also wasn't evil, right? He died like kind of a hero, right? He got rid of like a star reactor or whatever. So they're saying that the tentacles will be what are controlling him again. So it won't actually be Dr. Octopus. It'll be like the tentacles took over his consciousness and that's what's making him evil. As for Sandman, right? He just wanted to help his daughter, right? So I don't know why he'll be evil in this movie. That'll be interesting to see. If we get the Ebony Blade, will we get Excalibur too? I assume that we'll get Excalibur because of Black Knight. And hopefully Doctor Strange will kind of like start venturing more into like that magical side, like with Merlin and stuff. And Captain Britain and all them. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they had not shown one photo yet. What could they be hiding? Yeah, they're definitely hiding something huge. And I would assume that it has to do with Shuma Gorath, right? Maybe they don't want that to leak because it's going to be this huge CGI character. But other than that, I don't know. Like, Benedict Cumberbatch didn't even want to show his face. So I assume that maybe he's going to get a comic book accurate costume now, which would be awesome. But there are two other Captain Marvels now, and they're more diverse than Brie. It should be an easy choice to get rid of her. Yeah, get rid of the white woman. We have Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully Captain Marvel 2 will be better. I think Thunderbolt Ross will free Baron Zemo from the Wrath and recruit him for the Thunderbolts. Oh yeah, definitely. When the Thunderbolts project comes, Baron Zemo will definitely be one of the characters. It'll be Zemo, it'll be Red Hulk, it'll be Taskmaster, it'll be maybe even Yelena Belova. Yeah. I hope we get an old-timey King Arthur movie, Merlin and Arthur and all of that. That would be sick. That would be awesome. That would be so cool. And then you can have like Captain Britain, who was teased in Endgame when Captain America went back and was stalking Peggy Carter through the blinds in her office. She mentioned Captain Britain. Would you rather have Spider-Man 4 and have a last stand with Tobey, or The Amazing Spider-Man 3 to continue that cliffhanger from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and have a shot to end Andrew's story? Honestly, I would say Spider-Man 4. Because I don't know, I preferred those movies better. I like those movies better. But Tobey is also older, so maybe it would make sense to have The Amazing Spider-Man 3, right? Maybe finish the Rhino fight and have like whatever villain they wanted to introduce next, right? Because there's 900 Spider-Man characters, so they could definitely introduce a cool new villain. Am I the only one that wants Worldbreaker Hulk? I think he would be cool, but he may be too OP for the MCU. Yeah, maybe he's too OP now, but eventually it would make sense, right? And like I said before, now that Marvel is hopefully getting the rights back to the Hulk from Universal, they could start doing all these crazy versions of Hulk in the MCU that we haven't seen yet, right? Imagine if that was Galactus in the sky in the Eternals movie. That would be awesome. But I think they're gonna focus on the Eternals first. Maybe imagine if they had like an Eternals versus Galactus or a Celestials versus Galactus movie. That would be insane, right? Because if I remember correctly, doesn't Galactus like devour the planets that have the celestial eggs in them? I hear that there will be multiple Doctor Strange and Wongs and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and one Doctor Strange and Wong will be from the Netflix Defenders universe. That would be cool. Yeah, I agree. We'll probably see more Doctor Stranges from the multiverse. And maybe there will be like a final fight against Shumagorath with a bunch of Sorcerer Supremes. Spider-Man 4 easy. TASM 2 stunk. I don't need more of that universe. Yeah. I feel like they, just like Captain Marvel, they would need to do a lot of work to fix that movie to make people excited for it. Really, both Toby and Andrew need to get their endings at the same time. Yeah, I agree. Maybe have like a Spider-Man 4 / The Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie. Just one at the same time. And if the Amazing Spider-Man Green Goblin showed back up, Jesus, the nightmares would return. Have they finally gone away? I just hope Abomination shows up in the Thunderbolts. Well, he's supposed to show up in She-Hulk, so as long as they don't kill him off, then yeah, he could definitely show up in the Thunderbolts. Andrew and Toby verses of Spider-Man have had their beginnings, middle, and not yet endings. Yeah, so I understand why some people want them to have endings, like official endings. I hope they can introduce the Beyonder in the MCU. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like the Beyonder and like those cosmic entities are still too OP. But I don't know. There were plans to introduce the Living Tribunal, right? And I mean, imagine if we saw the Living Tribunal in Loki. That would be insane. Like he's the one that judged him. But yeah, I didn't realize there was a big black cloud in the sky of the Eternals trailer. Yeah, I think you missed it. Maybe he was just standing too still like Drax. But I didn't see it either. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming today. I'll stream again next Saturday. So, yeah. I'll stay for another 5 minutes and all right, hold on. Could you guys still hear me? Cause I switched the scene and I don't know if the mic transferred over. Yeah, I'll stay for like 5 more minutes. I'm gone. Okay, yeah, I assume that's what happened. Here, let me see if I can copy this over. Now, can you hear me? I'm back now. Okay, all right. So I'll answer those last few again. I wonder if Toby's Peter Parker fixed the door. Yeah, so I said that it wasn't him that was supposed to fix the door, right? It was his landlord, right? But also he wasn't paying the landlord. So I would assume that unless he paid the landlord, he wouldn't have fixed the door yet. Okay, I'm back. All right, yeah. All right, so about 5-10 more minutes and then I'll end the stream, guys. And what about the music? Did you guys ever hear the music or no? I've just been jamming to this Nintendo music in the background. Yeah, so I had some problems with my OBS settings, so I had to reset everything. I had it set up for the last stream, which is why you guys heard the music, but I guess I didn't set it up properly for this time. There was no music? Yeah, okay. That's unfortunate. All right, so next week I'll definitely have the music up then. Do you think that Toby's gonna be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Yeah, hopefully. I mean, he's definitely gonna appear in Spider-Man No Way Home, right? I think there's no one that can still deny that. Toby and Andrew are definitely appearing. So I would assume that if he doesn't end up getting killed in Spider-Man No Way Home, that yes, he will appear in Spider-Man in Doctor Strange 2, because there were rumors that he's supposed to appear. Sad Nintendo music slaps. Yeah, it really does. And I know you guys liked it last time. I love Nintendo music, Metroid Prime. Yeah, I'm really excited for Nintendo's E3. Like, I know that they're not going to announce anything other than probably Breath of the Wild 2 and maybe like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes and maybe like Legends Arceus. But it'd be awesome if they announced like Bayonetta, which one is it? 3 that's coming out, Bayonetta 3, and like Pikmin and Metroid Prime. Yeah, yeah. So I'll definitely have the music for you guys next week. You want to bet? I think I can find someone who doesn't think Andrew and Toby will show up. You mean Spider-Man? Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've seen him in the comments ever since that day, so he's probably ashamed. Um, but imagine how, like, imagine what would happen if they didn't appear in the movie. That would be insane. If we all believed that they were gonna appear, and it ends up just being like the original storyline that they wanted to do with like Kraven the Hunter. Well, there's got to be the next Smash DLC character too. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They probably will announce the DLC character. I mean, hopefully. I feel like Topher Grace Venom was missing a bunch of stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. Compared to like Eddie Brock's Venom in like Sony's universe, I think they're pretty even, right? Like Venom wasn't the best movie. But honestly, I think I would have to pick that one with Tom Hardy over the Spider-Man 3 Venom. Uh, Love that you're doing streams. Will you put the live stream videos in a playlist? Yeah, the first one is in a playlist right now. And this one will be up as soon as it ends. So you guys can go watch it if you miss anything. He disappeared. I die of shame. Yeah, he did disappear. He's gone. I haven't seen him in a long time. But I would probably die too. I'd probably just delete my channel. Like, yeah, guys, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are gonna appear in the movie, and then they don't. And I'm like, oh god. I am thinking of buying a Nintendo Switch. Do you think I should get a Nintendo Switch Lite? My other friends say that it would get drift. I mean, the Joy-Cons get drift no matter what. It's been like 4 years and they still haven't fixed it. So, I think if you want to save money, the Lite. If you want to get a normal Nintendo Switch, then get that. Or you could wait for the Pro, which is coming out soon. If you want like, I think it's got like a bigger screen and maybe it can play like 60 FPS. I'm not sure exactly what it has. Thank Thank you for the live. Yeah, no problem. I really enjoy doing these with you guys. And I really appreciate all of you guys coming. Don't get a Switch Lite. Having Joy-Cons permanently stuck to the Switch would be terrible. Oh yeah, you can't remove them, can you? Yeah. I mean, you plebs still play with Joy-Cons. I play with my GameCube controller. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It depends, right? If you have like if you're on a budget, then the Lite would probably be better, and you could just get like a Pro controller or a different controller, and that would work. But if you're not on a budget, then yeah, I would say just get the regular Switch or wait for the Pro. You could probably get a good bundle with the Pro if you wait. Only the Mark Webb actors have denied their involvement in No Way Home. The Raimi actors are just hiding. Yeah, yeah. There were like a bunch of interviews with Andrew where he was like, no, I'm not the werewolf. I'm not the werewolf. I'm not gonna be in No Way Home. And we're like, yeah, we know you are. Just like stop denying it. Is the Nintendo Switch Pro handheld, and when is it coming out? Yeah, I would assume so it's gonna be just like the regular Switch. It's just gonna be a little bit bigger. And if you've seen the Switch, it has like a black outline around the screen, so the screen's a little bit big, a little bit smaller. And the Pro is gonna have like the full screen. So I don't know how much it's gonna cost, how much or when it's coming out. But I assume that it'll only be a little bit bigger than the regular Switch. So yes, it still will be handheld. I haven't used my Joy-Cons in about a year and a half. Had a Switch for 2 years now. Joy-Cons suck so hard. Yeah, I got the Switch the day it came out. I remember I went with my dad to wait at Toys R Us at like 5, 6 in the morning to get the Switch. And then I immediately bought a Switch Pro controller, and I've never used the Joy-Cons. Topher Grace Venom release. Topher Grace Venom released me all because I was bullied and pushed around. Humiliated. His character wasn't that bad. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, his Venom definitely wasn't bad. It was a decent character. I got it the day Smash Bros came out. Yeah, I remember getting it on day one, and there was literally one game out. It was just Breath of the Wild, and I've never been a big Zelda fan, so I still played the game and I liked it, but yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I was definitely excited for Super Mario Odyssey. That's what I wanted to play. First Dane DeHaan, Andrew Garfield, and then Emma Stone denied their involvement in No Way Home. Yeah. Although I don't really think Dane DeHaan will return because we already have Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, right? So having two, I don't know, wouldn't make that much sense. Plus, his wasn't that well received. Andrew Garfield's obviously in the movie, and Emma Stone, like, didn't she deny it because of her pregnancy? And so that kind of makes sense. But I don't know. Maybe she will. If the Switch is handheld, then why did they create the Switch Lite? Because it's cheaper and smaller, and you can't remove the Joy Cons. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. They're all handheld though. It's kind of like the Nintendo DS, and then you have like the 3DS and the 2DS and like all the other like the DS XL or whatever it was called. Um, Switch Lite is cheaper and can't dock to the TV. Oh, it can't dock to the TV either. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, don't definitely don't get the Switch Lite. That sucks. If it can't dock, what's the point? Keep that non-Willem Dafoe Green Goblin away from the MCU. Yes, please. Yeah.